Hello, this is Sarah Lamtara. I am very happy to be back to YouTube after several months of not being able to film a video. I'm eager. I could finally find time to resume my YouTube journey. Content creation makes me happy and I'm eager to be of service to a large audience. It's the end of the academic year and students are getting for their exams. And I couldn't help but think of those who will sit for an oral exam or the presentation of their end of year or end of studies project. Undoubtedly, you need to demonstrate your knowledge and mastery of a subject matter, yet it's crucial to demonstrate your presentation, speaking and interpersonal communication skills in order to make the subject matter more interesting and of value. Besides, your ability to speak well enough and at ease is a major asset, whatever you choose to do in the future. So the following tips will certainly help you with your oral presentation. The first tip, or maybe the first thing you need to control right at the beginning of your presentation is stage fright. Please know that everybody and without exception experiences this kind of nervousness, this kind of fear, and it's referred to as performance anxiety. The difference between people is that some manage it better than others. So accept the fear simply as a part of the process and recognize it as your body's natural fight response to an unusual situation, and you shouldn't let the quick release of adrenaline into your bloodstream cripple or paralyze you. Instead, you should consciously use it to inject energy in your presentation. And to let it happen, don't feel apprehensive about your presentation, and this is tip number 2. Well, don't view it as a simple assignment or a monotonous exam. Rather, frame it as an exciting opportunity and think of it as a way to impress, as a way to exchange and pass on important information. And here, this reminds me of one of the most important oral presentations I delivered in the past few years. That was my PhD defense. And you can't imagine how nervous I was, but fortunately I could manage my stress because simply I thought of it as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I looked at it this way, and for me it was a way to share my research findings with academics, members of the jury, members of my family and friends as well. So I looked at it this way and I did enjoy it very much, and it went magnificently well. So it's all about that positive attitude you nurture from the very beginning, which will allow you to emit those positive vibes and engage with your audience. So now that you're emotionally and psychologically prepared, it's time to let it go and let it go as confidently and as smoothly as possible with an appealing voice projection. And that's tip number 3. So you need to speak loud enough so that people at the back can hear you without hurting your voice. And remember, breath is the fuel of your voice. So take a deep intake from the diaphragm, that horizontal muscle separating the chest from the lower part of the body. Don't push air neither from your lungs nor from your throat because your voice will wear out. Then don't be monotonous, meaning don't speak with the same intonation throughout the whole presentation, because your tone of voice must fit the type of information you're about to share with your audience to persuade or inform them. So let your intonation highlight the different purposes your oral presentation tends to serve. Don't speak neither too quickly nor too slowly. Give your audience enough time to absorb information, but again, not too much time to let them get bored. Another way to keep your audience engaged is eye contact. So dare to look at your audience in the eye, because this conveys self-confidence, and your audience will certainly be focused on you and your content, of course. Now that you're ready to deliver your presentation, it's polite to start with a warm welcome. First, introduce yourself if you're supposed to. Again, depending on the type of your presentation. Show gratitude to people. Thank them for accepting to evaluate your work. This all the time makes a good impression when you thank people. This makes them feel at ease and appreciated. And remember here, everything works to your advantage. You can also briefly thank the audience for their attendance to let the atmosphere be more inclusive. Immediately after, move to the introduction of your presentation. Make it as appealing as possible and start with expressions like, did you know that? Or have you ever heard of? Or at the beginning, let me share a story. What I personally do, or what I personally encourage my students to do, especially those who are defending their end of studies projects, is to highlight the added value or the relevance of your project to let people understand or see that gap they fill in a particular domain, or that need they respond to. Then you can proceed with a structured and a dynamic presentation through which you can present your material in a well-organized manner, of course, depending on your academic requirements. Of course, it's not a standardized format for all disciplines. Then be flexible and adjust according to your presentation. Please don't give facts and broad ideas. Rather, support your ideas with examples and visuals, and never read from your slides word for words. My God, this is a bad habit. Allow for more clarification and that smooth transition from one component to another. For your conclusion, remember to conclude with a strong ending, because the most powerful and remembered words you speak are the last ones. So summarize your key points and refer to the added value of your findings which serve a purpose. The last tip has to do with rehearsal, and remember to practice those tips as much as you can. Please remember that practice is a long-term process. We don't improve our self-confidence and communication skills with a magic wand in one presentation only. This requires time, a lot of efforts, and especially a lot of practice. So you should all the time seek opportunities to improve and speak in front of others. So keep rehearsing your presentations, and I wish you a lot of success. And remember, serving you is my job, and it's also my great pleasure. So stay tuned.